Welcome to Trending Update USA. I am Steffan, and tonight we dive deep into one of the most heated, emotionally charged, and conversation-dominating storylines currently rippling across the tennis world. A moment that was supposed to be routine, two world-class athletes crossing paths after a hard-fought match, has erupted into a global debate after a camera caught what many fans are calling an insult, sparking accusations that Aryna Sabalenka was acting like a sore loser, following a tense showdown with Elena Rybakina. What unfolded in those few seconds has now turned into a viral storm, fueling arguments, reactions, and speculation across social media, tennis press rooms, and fan communities worldwide. And tonight, we unpack the full timeline, the context behind the friction, the body language breakdown, the historical tension between these two fierce competitors, and why this incident has become such a lightning rod within the WTA sphere. It all started immediately after match point. Rybakina sealed the win with calm precision, one of those ice-cold finishes that have come to define her style, while Sabalenka, visibly upset, walked toward the net. Cameras zoomed in as the two approached, and what should have been a routine handshake turned into a moment of controversy. Sabalenka made brief eye contact, extended her hand, but instead of the firm, respectful shake fans expect from top-tier athletes, viewers saw a quick, dismissive grip and an immediate turn away. But it wasn't just the handshake that ignited the firestorm. It was what happened right after. As Sabalenka walked past Rybakina, her facial expression tightened, she muttered something under her breath, and her body language shifted sharply. Rybakina, typically stoic, raised her eyebrows and let out a small, unexpected laugh, an expression that fans interpreted as a reaction to something Sabalenka said or did. Slow-motion replays circulated online quickly, with analysts and fans dissecting every gesture, every glance, every muscle movement. Some fans insisted Sabalenka whispered something audibly irritated, while others argued she simply breathed out in frustration. But once the clips hit X, TikTok, and Instagram, captions started appearing. Sabalenka disrespects Rybakina, Rybakina reacts to insult, so loser caught on camera. And the comments sections exploded. Tennis fans are no strangers to high emotions, heated rivalries, and moments that walk the fine line between competitor passion and pure sportsmanship. But this clip struck a chord because it tapped into an ongoing narrative that has existed between Sabalenka and Rybakina for years. Their rivalry is built on contrast, fire versus ice, raw power versus controlled precision, emotion versus composure. Sabalenka wears her heart on her sleeve. Every point, every miss, every frustration is visible. Rybakina, by contrast, maintains a calm, almost poker-face demeanor at all times, which some interpret as confidence, others as detachment. When Sabalenka loses, critics often accuse her of letting emotions get the better of her. When Rybakina wins, detractors say she doesn't show enough passion. This dichotomy has fueled countless debates, and this most recent incident poured gasoline onto an already smoldering narrative. Within minutes of the match ending, media commentators began weighing in. Some defended Sabalenka, arguing that elite athletes are allowed to feel disappointment, especially after a match where momentum slipped away in key moments. They highlighted the fact that Sabalenka still completed the handshake, something lesser-controlled players have skipped entirely in past controversies. Others were far less forgiving, calling the interaction childish, petulant, and unprofessional. Fans started digging up past clips, creating montage edits comparing Sabalenka's behavior and other difficult losses. Some pointed to her previous emotional reactions, racket smashes, and tense exchanges with chair umpires. But supporters clapped back, pointing out that male players often react far more aggressively without receiving the same level of scrutiny. When men show emotions, they're called passionate competitors, one fan wrote. When Sabalenka does it, she's a sore loser. The double standard is unbelievable. Rybakina herself stayed true to form, minimal public reaction, no inflammatory comments, and no interviews where she escalated the situation. Instead, she offered a neutral, almost diplomatic post-match response, praising her own performance, acknowledging Sabalenka as a tough opponent, and noting that high-pressure matches often lead to intense emotions. But interestingly, she did lightly reference the handshake moment when asked about it directly. With a small, tight smile, she told reporters, "I think everyone saw what happened." That single sentence, calm, measured, but pointed, sent tennis fans into a frenzy. Some interpreted it as shade, others as intentional understatement, and some as a subtle hint that Sabalenka's behavior didn't sit well with her. That one line became the quote of the day, plastered across highlight reels, social media graphics, and sports outlets. Meanwhile, Sabalenka's camp attempted to shift focus back to the match itself. In her press conference, Aryna acknowledged the disappointing loss but avoided addressing the handshake drama directly. When one reporter pushed the topic, asking whether she regretted how she handled the post-match moment, Sabalenka paused, smiled tightly, and said, "I don't think anything needs to be explained." For some fans, that comment softened the situation, an acknowledgement without diving into theatrics. Others said the non-answer confirmed her irritation toward Rybakina. The ambiguity only fueled more speculation. This entire scenario underscores a critical truth about modern sports: perception often outweighs reality, especially when cameras capture micro-moments and social media distributes them with context-less commentary. A single raised eyebrow, a quick exhale of frustration, or an awkward handshake can become global headlines. Athletes live under a microscope, where every interaction is slowed down, analyzed, debated, turned into memes, and weaponized in fan wars. In this case, the Sabalenka Rybakina dynamic provided the perfect fuel for viral engagement. Their rivalry already commands massive attention due to how evenly matched they are in skill. Their contrasting personalities amplify every encounter. And the stakes of the match itself, high-ranking implications, momentum heading into the next phase of the tour, added another layer of intensity. Behind the scenes, analysts speculate that the tension may stem from deeper competitive history. Rybakina's calmness undercuts Sabalenka's emotional intensity, which can be psychologically challenging. When an emotional player faces an unshakable opponent, frustration magnifies. Some former players noted that Rybakina's ability to absorb Sabalenka's power and return fire with surgical precision often forces Sabalenka out of her comfort zone, which could contribute to the post-match frustration. Others pointed out that the two have had several tight battles in the past, epic three-set duels that tested both mental and physical limits. In such rivalries, respect grows, but so does pressure. And when the margins between victory and defeat are razor-thin, emotions naturally run high. What makes this moment so compelling is that it reveals the human side of elite performance. Fans often romanticize sportsmanship, expecting athletes to be models of composure regardless of circumstance. But competitors are human beings who have invested years of their lives into their craft. When victory slips away, that emotional impact can be immense. Whether Sabalenka's reaction crossed the line is subjective, but what is undeniable is the passion behind it. Rybakina, meanwhile, has built a reputation on steadiness, but even she let a rare moment of personal reaction show through, suggesting that this particular incident was memorable even for her. As the debate continues, the tennis world now shifts attention to the inevitable rematch. Every rivalry thrives on conflict, and this incident has added a new chapter, one that fans will track obsessively. The next time Sabalenka and Rybakina face each other, the tension will be exponential. Cameras will zoom closer, handshake predictions will fly across social media, commentators will reference this incident repeatedly, and fans will look for the smallest sign of continuation or reconciliation. Rivalries shape tennis history, and this moment has solidified theirs as one of the most compelling in women's tennis today. For now, the conversation remains divided. Is Sabalenka a fierce competitor whose passion is being unfairly scrutinized? Or did her behavior cross the line into disrespect? Did Rybakina's subtle reaction reflect annoyance or amusement? Should athletes be allowed emotional space, or does sportsmanship take priority above all? These questions will continue to circulate, and the tennis world will continue to debate. But one thing is clear: this moment has become a flashpoint, a storyline that will be remembered long after the season ends. And it reminds us that behind every trophy, every ranking point, and every highlight reel is a human being navigating the emotional highs and lows of elite sport. This is Trending Update USA, and I am Steffan, bringing you the full breakdown of the drama, context, and meaning behind one of the most talked about moments in recent WTA history. Stay tuned as reactions evolve, new interviews emerge, and this rivalry takes on its next chapter, because if history is any indication, this story is far from over.